Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm changing it up finally and going back a decade. Yes, let's go back to 2014. I honestly wish I could go back to that whole era. I feel this is still a fun album after all this time, being Mandatory Fun by Weird Al Yankovic. I definitely remember listening to some of these songs a decent bit after the album was released. Anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into it. This is his 14th and final studio album that was released on July 15th, 2014. It recently celebrated a decade of release at the time of this recording, and when I typed this whole scripts up for myself. The album has a runtime of about 45 minutes and does not, surprisingly, contain any singles. Aside from the parodies, the original tracks on this album imitate styles of the Pixies, Cat Stevens, Foo Fighters, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and Southern culture on the skids. Through the process of this album, Weird Al found himself listening to some older acts. The originals were also written first for the album. That was to allow the parodies to be made as timely as possible upon the album's release. Surprisingly, there are only 5 parodies on this album, and they are of Fancy by Iggy Azalea featuring Charlie XCX, Royals by Lord, Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke featuring T.I. and Pharrell, Radioactive by Imagine Dragons, and Happy by Pharrell. Weird Al was excited as all artists who he wanted to parody a song accepted his request. Now, let's go ahead and hop into some of the tracks. We start the album off with Handy. The track is a parody of Fancy by Iggy Azalea featuring Charlie XCX. This parody revolves around a handyman in different situations, from fixing leaks, fridges, garbage disposals, and more. I didn't mind Lame Claim to Fame, but I just found it lacking a little bit lyrically. I find some lines to be comedic, but I don't feel this is necessarily one of his best originals while looking back at what he's done in the past. Foil is the next parody, which is of Royals by Lord. This is his shortest parody, as it omits a bridge and final chorus. The first verse talks about how aluminum foil helps keep food fresh for longer, while the second verse hops into more conspiracy theories and aluminum hats. Word Crimes has always been a favorite of mine. The track is a parody of Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke featuring T.I. and Pharrell. I've always enjoyed the track as it essentially pokes fun at using proper English and a lot of different grammatical errors alongside other things like homophones and homonyms. Now, that's what I call polka. Has always been another favorite of mine off the album. As usual, we do get a polka medley on the album, and this track uses a decent bit of top hits from 2011 to what seems like early 2014. I always enjoy the transition between Timber and Sexy and I Know It. I also enjoyed his inclusion of Thrift Shop. I felt Mission Statement wasn't too bad of a track. For sure, I felt it was a decent original from him. The second to last song parody featured on the album is of Imagine Dragons' Radioactive, which is parodied as Inactive. The track essentially revolves around, of course, not being too active and just getting up and moving. Tacky is the final song parody on the album, which is of Happy by Pharrell. I feel this was a decent final parody for the album. I did enjoy this track overall, and even love some of the lines off the track. We finish the album off with Jackson Park Express. This is the longest track on the album, coming in at 9 minutes. I didn't feel it was a bad track, but I felt at some points it could have been cut down a little bit. For sure, I don't mind some longer songs, but I feel at points there's some that drag on for a little longer than they should. My favorite tracks are Handy, Foil, War Crimes, Now That's What I Call Polka, and Tacky. Today, I'll be giving this album a 3.5 out of 5. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I know this is my first review on a Saturday in a while, but I'm hoping you all enjoyed this little bonus review this week. Anyways, next week, on Friday, I'll be looking at Honky Tonk Time Machine by George Strait.